guys, I am ready for the Module 16 review. So let's get started. It's on page 433. The first section is on vocabulary. So in this vocabulary box, our options are equivalent fractions, equal parts, numerator, and denominator. So number 1 says the blank shows the number of parts into which the whole is divided. So the whole is divided into how many parts? What part of the fraction tells us that? The top number or the bottom number? That would be the bottom number, the denominator. The denominator tells us or shows the number of parts into which the whole is divided. Number 2 says 2 or more fractions that name the same amount are. So naming the same amount, the same space, the same area, that is going to be equivalent fractions. All right, number 3 says, what fraction does the point on the first number line represent? Well, if we look at our number line, it is divided into 1, 2, 3 equal sections. So I know that my denominator is going to be 3. Okay, and then the point is after the 1, 2, the second line. So it's going to be 2/3. And then it says draw a point on the second number line that is equivalent to the point on the first number line. So let's take a look at this second number line. It's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. So 6 and 3, let's see. Well, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and so I'm going to count by 2s until I get to where 2/3 would be. So I would go, I know that was like kind of confusing, but I would go 1, 2, that's the same as 1/3. That's what I mean by counting by 2s. 1, 2, that's 1/3. 1, 2, that's 2/3. I drew all over it, so it's kind of hard to tell. But that is the line. It's the same as 1, that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And that's what it says right here. So write less than, greater than, or equal to compare the fractions on the two number lines. Well, if they're equivalent, then I know that it's going to be equal to. The first one was 2/3. The second one was 4/6. So I was counting by 2s because 6 divided by 3 is 2. And so I did divide by 3 because of the thirds up here. I wanted numbers that were related. Okay, number 4 says match the equivalent fractions. Tell what strategy or tool you will use to solve the problem, explain your choice, and then find the answers. So on this side we have 1/2, 4/3, 2/6. So I'm going to match them over to 1/3, 2/4, and 8/6. So for the first one, 1/2, I'm going to look for numbers that are where the numerator is half of the denominator, and that would be 2/4. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. Then for 4/3, the numerator is greater than the denominator, and so I'm going to look for a fraction that has a numerator greater than the denominator, and that's going to be 8/6. And then to double check my work, because I don't want to just choose it just because the numerator is greater than the denominator, they both have that in common, and so that's going to help me narrow down my choices. But then to double check that that they are equivalent, I'm going to say, okay, how is 4 related to 8 and how is 3 related to 6? Well, 4 is half of 8 and 3 is half of 6. So that's how they're related. That's what makes them equivalent. And then 2/6 is equivalent to 1/3. It's our last option, but then to double check that that's correct, we could say, how is 2/6 related to 1/3? and we could say, well, 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. So again, multiplying by 2. Dividing by 2, multiplying by 2, and that is an easy way to find equivalent fractions. Okay, next page, number 5. Reese draws lines to divide a circle and shades one part. Divide the same size circle another way to show an equivalent fraction. So let's go down here and write down the fraction shown. One part is shaded, so that's what I'm counting is 1 out of how many parts? 4 equal parts. And then it says to show an equivalent fraction, so I know it's going to be equal to. And then I'm going to divide, it's already divided into fourths for me, and so I'm going to go ahead and shade that 1/4 again. But then I'm going to divide the fractions in half to create 8 equal parts. So then I have 8 equal parts, and now 2 of them are shaded, because the size of the parts changed. The size of the parts were smaller, so now I have 2 of them to represent the same area. Okay, number 6, it says match the equivalent fractions. So there's this big table, and it says 1/3, 1/2, 2/3, or 6/8. So we're gonna pick one of them that is equivalent to the ones on the side. So 4/6. So I'm gonna look for, let's see, 4 is not half of 6, so I'm not gonna do 1/2. It's not 1/3, because that is too little. So I'm gonna look over here. It's not 6/8, because 6 isn't related to 8. See how the denominators? Yeah, those are not related. But 2/3, if I do 4 divided by 2, I get 2. If I do 6 divided by 2, I get 3. So those are the same. And just by looking, we can see, oops, wrong one, that one. Just by looking, they cover the same area. And then 3/4. So again, 4, this 4, and this 3, not related. Okay, so it's not going to be that one. 3 is not half of 4, so it's not going to be 1/2. Again, 4 and 3, not related. 6/8, though, 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8, so it's 6/8. So those cover the same area. When I say that they're not related, what I mean is that it's not they're not a multiple of that number. So like 3 is not a multiple of 4, and 4 is not a multiple of 3. So they're not related. We couldn't say 3 times 2 and get 4. Like, that's just impossible. Okay, so 2/6, let's see, what do we have left? 2/6, 2 is not half of 6, so it's not going to be the fraction 1/2. But if we do 2 divided by 2 and get 1, that works, and 6 divided by 2 and get 3, that works. So that will cover the same space. And then 2/4, 2 is half of 4, so 2/4 is the same as 1/2. All right, number 7, it says, write 2 equivalent fractions represented by point A. So let's see. Right now, they're divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, so I could do over 4, and it is 1/2. Okay, so that's the fraction shown now, and then I need a fraction equivalent to 2/4. 2 is half of 4, so 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Okay, and then it says write 2 equivalent fractions represented by point B. So that is over here. So again, we're still in fourths, so I'm going to be over 4. But you can see we're past 1 whole, so it's going to be 4/4 and 5/4, 6, 7, 8/4, which would be the same. So now we have 4 is half of 8, but the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so we could do like divide by 2, and we could do 4 over 2 and do halves again. There's a couple different things that we could do that are equivalent. But yeah, let me know what you come up with. So that's it. That's the review. Pretty quick. This is our last module that's like really focused on fractions. The next unit is on measurement and data. So if I were you guys, I would go on to happynumbers.com, practice the math skills, practice the fractions, go to IXL.com, log in with your info. If you don't remember your username or anything, just email me and let me know, or message me on Class Dojo, because I can go in as a teacher and like I can see all of your username and passwords. So I can just send you that information, and then you can be on IXL and go through and find fraction games to do, and that will be really good practice. So keep working hard. Good luck on your practice test. I hope it goes well, and let me know if you need anything. Love your guts. Bye.